Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the HP Omen Blast, a wired 7.1 virtual surround sound gaming headset with 53mm drivers, a 24-bit USB DAC, 3.5mm connection options, a large headband design, large earcups, and an interesting soundscape. Now this is an unboxing video and review, and I'm going to cover off a number of things in this video for you, including the software, the equalizer settings, connectivity options, and a lot more. And for reference, I'm using the microphone from this headset to record the voiceover for this video, so you can get an idea of what the capture quality of the microphone is like and how that stands up amongst the competition and against the usual videos from me. Now this headset is designed to work with PC, but it will also work with other devices thanks to that 3.5mm connection. So they say it will work with your smartphone, with a Chromebook, with PS4, with Xbox One, although I do know it will work with voice and audio, but with Nintendo Switch it will only work with audio only, so you can't use the microphone on it. So your experience may vary. Now I'm doing this review on PC, and I have been using the USB DAC, which you can see here, which is essentially a 3.5mm cable that then converts into a USB cable that then plugs into your PC, and then you can get the high-res audio when you turn it on in Windows sound settings. A bit more on that later on. Otherwise, the headset itself is fairly underwhelming in terms of what you get in the box and what it looks like. There are, however, a number of nice features to it. For example, the included cables are really long, and that means that you don't end up having them tugging on you constantly, but you do have the risk of potentially snagging them on your chair or something else like that. Another thing that I found and was struck by immediately is the size and the stretchability of the headband and the headset itself. You'll see it twists and it turns and it stretches really nicely, so I think if you have a larger head, you'll probably find this is a really good fit for that, and you'll be able to get it in a position where it's very nice. However, one thing that I will show is that it is quite stiff, and so if you're doing something simple like taking one ear cup off so you can listen to the world around you or talk to someone else while you're also listening with the other ear, then it can be a bit uncomfortable, and I'll show you that a bit later on. What you will see is it has these large padded faux leather ear cups that are pretty deep actually, and they're quite large too, so I haven't found there's been any unnecessary pressure on my ears while using them. And they do block out some external noise. It's not really a closed back design, so it doesn't have a lot of passive noise cancellation. I can hear my own voice while I'm talking to you, for example, which is a good thing as well because there's no side tone as default, so you don't get any feedback from the microphone. You're not able to hear your own voice through the microphone. However, there is an easy mic mute button on the cable, and you can retract the microphone out of the way if you don't want to use it, so if you have a dedicated microphone setup you can do that. There's no light on the mic to let you know it's muted though, but you do have a little indicator on the box on the cable, and you'll see that when you mute it you basically have that little red stripe on there to let you know that's done. But there's no audible cue, so it's easy to mute yourself on the cable and not realise that you've done it and then have a problem where you can't capture audio, which I've had. There is also a volume control wheel on that little box as well, so you do have easy access to volume controls, and there's otherwise no controls on the headset themselves. And as I said, you can use a 3.5mm connection, although you will note that the headset doesn't come with a splitter, so if you use a PC or a laptop that requires a splitter, or you have a connection for your microphone and for the headphones separately, then you'll need to purchase that separately because it only has a single 3.5mm connection here. Alternatively, you can plug it in to the adapter cable, which, as you can see, they're both the same length, so you're actually doubling the length of the cable when you plug it in. And I'll leave all the specifications that I can in the description, but what I found is that the cable is really long and results in a comfortable fit without any problems. And obviously this is going to vary depending on where you're plugging it in, but I've got my PC fairly close to me and I can plug it in on the front or the back without any hassle because of the sheer length of it, so it's pretty straightforward. Comfort has been a mixed bag. The headset, as you can see, is quiet when you're stretching it out, and it's fairly quiet on the head, so it doesn't make a lot of creaking sounds until you start putting pressure on it. It felt kind of cheap, I'll be honest, when I got it out of the box, and it isn't that expensive. It's about £89 sterling, probably about the same in dollars, so it's not super expensive. and I think that goes through to the overall quality of it. I wouldn't say it feels cheap, but it doesn't feel really premium either. The design, however, is nicely understated. There's no RGB lighting, it's not too garish or leery or in your face or anything like that. You've got a nice bit of padding on the headband, and you obviously have that metal outer frame as well, so you've got a good support there, and that adjusts by basically stretching up from the headband on the ear cups, and it basically just fits nicely on the head. I think, like I said, any size head you have, you won't have issues with this. If you've got a slightly larger head, you probably won't have a problem, so this is probably an ideal headset for someone like that. In terms of warmth, I find that my ears do get a bit warm using it. Is obviously faux leather ear cups do result in that problem, but generally it's been pretty comfortable to wear during the day and throughout the night as well, when video editing or gaming and listening to music. And in terms of listening to music, it's actually been really good for music and movies, and I found it was really good quality for that and gave a good range, and it sounded great. When I first started using it for games, I felt like it was really washed out and quite tinny sounding, and I'll go into this a bit more later on, but I basically thought it wasn't that astounding. The 7.1 surround sound is pretty good on PC. It gives you good positional audio. It's not too bad. It's not the best I've heard. It looks like it's HP's own rather than DTS or Dolby or THX or anything like that, but it does do the job, and it delivers a pretty decent sound, so it's not too bad. But I did feel it was a bit washed out, but a bit more on that later on. Now here you can see the fit on the head and how it sits. It is quite a chunky headset, as you can see, so it does stick out from the head itself, and you know, you might not want to wear it out of the house for that reason, but you can see just the stretch of it and how big it can go and the way the ear cups will turn. But what I said earlier on is that I found that the ear cups themselves are pretty stiff in the way they turn, so although you can tilt and turn the ear cups to sort of get them into a comfortable position, I find that when you are taking one ear cup off to listen to somebody or to perhaps listen out for the doorbell or something, or have a conversation with someone else, or just temporarily get one of those ear cups off for some reason, I find that it's really stiff in that way, and it's not particularly well designed to do that. There is also a little bit of a creak in the ear cups. If you move your head around too much, I find that the headband and the ear cups creak. This might vary depending on your model, but you can see just how sort of stiff the headband is sitting on my head as I take one ear cup off to put it to the side, so it's kind of an odd experience. You can, however, put it on your neck, around your neck quite easily. Now I'm going to show you some of the sound settings. And here we are within the Omen Hub gaming software, and I'm going to quickly show you some of that before we dive into the game. And what you'll see is a fairly straightforward bit of software. So you have a landing page, you click on the Omen Blast, and then you can customize certain things. You can turn your 7.1 virtual surround sound on and off here with a couple of clicks. You can adjust the mic volume and the overall headset volume, although obviously you can do that with the volume control wheel as well. And then you have the band equalizer, which you can turn off, you don't have to use, but this is actually one of the highlights of the headset. The default sound is kind of tinny, but I actually find that some of these adjustments in the other settings can make quite a bit of difference. So for example, there's an FPS footsteps enhancer and footsteps enhancer 2, the ones that I've been using. You'll note further down you have music ones, bass booster, electronic rock, treble booster and metal, and then you also have MOBA and racing as the settings, but for me it's been mostly default, and then also FPS and the footsteps enhancer. And these footsteps enhancers are for the people that like to sound haul. So if you're making the most of listening out for enemy footsteps, whether it's in Call of Duty, Warzone, or Rainbow Six Siege, or CSGO, or something like that, competitive shooters, these settings really cut out the bass and focus on the sort of high notes and let you hear the footsteps and the direction they're coming from, and combine that with the 24-bit high-res audio, and you get a really good audio range that helps with positional audio. And I'm going to try and demonstrate that a little bit now with some Rainbow Six Siege, because I can capture that audio and then show you what the changes make. Obviously the way you perceive this is going to be different depending on what you're watching, whether you're watching on a phone or listening through headphones or speakers, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, but it does capture the differences between them recording this, so we'll show you it. So we'll show you what the default settings are. as we go into Rainbow Six Siege. So I'm going to show something else. So if you go into Windows Sound Settings, make sure you've got the earphone and microphone set up properly, manage sound devices, device properties, additional device properties, and then within the headset earphone properties, click on advanced and you'll see that you have access to a multitude of settings. I think as default is set to like 48 kilohertz or something. Now you have 24-bit audio because of the USB DAC, which means you can go up to 192,000 hertz studio quality. 96,000 is usually what you get on a high-res headset, so you have the potential for 192,000, which is ridiculous. And then you can click apply and that will apply it. Obviously you also have access to spatial surround sound through Windows Sonic if you don't want to use the 7.1 surround sound in Omen, and if you want to purchase it you could use Dolby Atmos as an alternative. I found the surround sound to be pretty decent on this, not mind-blowing. It is pretty standard. There is no DTS or Dolby, so it looks like it's probably HP's own surround sound, but it's been pretty decent. So now we're going to try some training rounds protecting the hostage, because I just want to show what it's like when I'm basically being surrounded by enemies coming from a multitude of directions, and show the differences and what that means in terms of the audio when you switch in between them. So bear in mind I'm on the default setting now. So what I want to show to start with is quite bassy. There's quite a good range to it when you're doing things like putting up the walls or just stomping around the room. Obviously Doc's got a lot of armour and he sounds pretty heavy anyway, so he's quite thumpy. But it makes quite a large thumping sound, and it's quite a good audio range. It's not the best I've heard, but it does sound good, and that high-res audio makes quite a difference. And the high-res audio can make quite a difference to positional audio as well. When you combine those two, you can really hear a good range of sound. And the first time I used a high-res audio headset on Rainbow Six Siege, I was struck by the difference it made. So I can already hear them coming from this way, it sounds like. Now if I quickly pause that, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to switch it into Footsteps Enhancer, and you'll see that that changes the layout of the equalizer, and what it does is it takes out a lot of the bass. So now when I'm moving around, there's not quite as much bass to it, and although I can hear my footsteps still, they're not as thumpy. And now it sounds like they're coming from this direction.
Down, injured by
shot my hostage.
Zeroed in by enemy overwatch. Fall back.
Stay still, you'll be fine in no time.
Op 4 has a 20 on the hostage.
And if I quickly come out of here and switch it to Footsteps Enhancer 2, which makes the biggest difference and takes out even more bass and really makes it quite ridiculous. So now, go back.
The threat has been
What you'll
eliminated.
immediately notice is now my footsteps are really tinny, and a lot of the bass has been taken out. And even the sound in sort of the atmospheric sounds are a lot tinnier. Like the sound of the rain and things like that has been reduced. It's just the whole thing sounds a lot hollower, I think would be the best description of it. But then when you start to hear enemy movement, you really pick up on it. So actually using this, I find it's a mixed bag, because if you are worried mostly about being competitive, then you can obviously hear the footsteps and get the edge. But you're also losing a lot of the game sounds, which I feel is a shame, but it's going to be a personal preference. So now they're coming from this way over here again. I didn't actually get that one right, I didn't hear them coming from this way. So it's not a perfect system, but it makes a big difference.
We provide the hostage.
Just quickly, I'm going to go back and set it to FPS again so you can hear the difference.
Fire.
Just listen to the bass.
Hostiles eliminated.
I'll take care of you.
Hostiles regrouping. Secure the area. Hostiles alive.
So
Keep
much
them
bass
safe.
here. It's crazy. And even the environmental noise is a lot bassier. Simple things like
Hostile
bolting the door
insertion.
in
Prepare to
place.
engage.
So there you have it. That's been the HP Omen Blast. Hopefully that's been a nice thorough review for you that you've enjoyed. Would I recommend this headset? Yeah, maybe. It's reasonably good sound. That high-res audio is obviously interesting. A variety of sound settings. If you really want to hear footsteps, this is pretty decent. But personally, I don't really like the comfort, and the audio range isn't as good as it could be. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you found it useful, interesting, hilarious, or all of the above. Be sure to check out the description for other information you might find interesting, and subscribe and watch these other videos as well that I think might be useful to you, and have a great life.